that is a human. Humans are made out of what?
Cells.
That's what we're gonna get to. But so let's say they're made out of organs, individual organs. So a heart, there's a pancreas, right? Your liver, your lungs. So organs. So person, human, or whatever you want to call yourself, are made out of organs. Okay? Organs are made out of tissue. And tissues are made out of individual cells. So within this little tissue right here, this little square, there's a whole bunch of cells that make up that tissue. Okay? So what happens is that when the oxygen goes through your bloodstream after it comes into your lungs, it's gonna go through the organs. As it's going through the organs, what is that organ made out of again, Saeed?
It's made out of tissue.
Tissue. So if it's going through the organ, that means it's going through the tissue, right? Because the organ is made out of the tissue. I want you to think of the tissue as a piece of cloth or material. There's different organs, right? You guys have different kinds of clothes that are made out of different material. That's a sweater, this is a shirt, that's a t-shirt, right? But they're all made out of, some are made out of cotton, polyester. You guys follow me? All right, so this tissue is like a piece of cloth that belongs to the organs that are the pants. Does that make sense? Just like you have different types of tissue inside of you, there's different types of cloth that make the pant or the shirt or the sweater or the socks or the hat, right? And they'll have different jobs, so they have to be a different texture, a different roughness to take care of that job. Just like jeans do. You have work clothes, right? Does that make sense? So I want you guys to think of an organ like that, and I think it might make more sense. It'll take away the magic away from it. Like it's all everything's the same. Just chill out. All right, you guys get it? All right, cool. All right, so ATP is made inside of every individual cell that makes the tissue, that makes the organ. Just like the yarn makes the cloth, that makes the pants, that makes the entire outfit. Does it make sense? Perfect. All right, cool. All right, so every time we've been talking about inside the cell, there's a organelle called the mitochondria. Do you remember that? The mitochondria? Am I in the same dimension right now? Am I in the same place? All right, the mitochondria? Okay. Inside the mitochondria, what is created inside the mitochondria? That started this whole conversation right now. What was the first question?
ATP.
ATP. Perfect. All right, so ATP is made in here. This is life. That's what keeps you alive. All right? What two things have to meet inside the mitochondria?
I think it's like oxygen and
Good. Plus
glucose.
Make ATP. All right? So every time the blood is flowing through the organs, that makes the tissues. So if it's going through the organ, it's going through the tissue, right? Does that make sense? If I'm driving in Fresno, I might also be driving down Blackstone Avenue. I'm not just in Fresno. The blood's not just going through the organs, it's going through the tissue that make the organs, like the streets that make the city. Okay? Then we go into the cells, like you go into your job to make your money, which is the ATP. Then I go. Okay? Then I go home to go waste it. But you guys follow the concept. Alright? Okay. So every time that oxygen meets glucose at the appropriate time, normal, when it's supposed to meet the demand that you need, and the demand is always going to shift, is it not? It's always going to shift because are we always doing the exact same thing? No. So because we're not always doing the exact same thing, is our body always doing the exact same thing? No. It shifts. It has to meet that demand. Why do you think you breathe more when you're doing more? Why do you think your heartbeat goes harder when you're going harder, because your body has to meet the demand that you're outputting, so your body has to maintain that. Any questions about that? When oxygen, I said all of that to say this: when oxygen and glucose meet in the cells that make the tissue, that make the organ, that make the human, when oxygen and glucose meet in the cell to make ATP on time per demand, that is called perfusion. That means everything is happening exactly how it has to happen. Does that make sense? So I need you to, besides all this gibberish, I would write down perfusion equals normal. That means that